I spend the majority of my day teaching, and most of my brain function goes towards that kind of problem solving. So it's definitely hard to turn it off. And I think that in some ways it perhaps inhibits a little of what I do, knowing that a large part of my audience is high school students. So I don't do as much nude work anymore, right? But in the way that I think it's beneficial is that, as a student myself, I think it's important to, keep taking classes, to keep trying new things, that I'm continually put in their position. And I think by being a practicing artist that I'm a better teacher, because I can speak to some of those concerns. I understand the pressures of a deadline and things like that for a show. So those are, some of the ways, of course, that it translates. I'm Stacey Gross. I'm an artist educator. My parents were incredibly supportive always in my journey to become an artist. I was constantly drawing and doodling, and they supported that and encouraged that. I remember doing it in a lot of my free time, where a lot of kids read books. I was always drawing. It wasn't until high school that I kind of committed to the idea of being an artist. I'd always been artistic, but my high school art teacher, growing up in Quincy, definitely was encouraging and a very motivating factor behind me pursuing art in college. So I went to U of I knowing that I wanted to do something with art, but not quite knowing what that something was. I thought maybe graphic design, but at the time computers were kind of this new thing and definitely intimidating. So I shied away from graphic design, and art education felt like a very tangible route for me. And the thing that I loved about art ed as a major was that I was required to take all of these different types of studio classes. I had to take ceramics, I had to take photography, I had to take metals and sculpture and painting. So it really indulged my interest in lots of different art forms. And I think the 19-year-old in me, not quite knowing what I wanted to do, I could still do many different things and then see where that took me. But that definitely really shaped, I think, still how I practice today, that I don't just devote all of my attention to a particular medium, that I'm really interested in lots of different approaches to art making. I got excited about photography with my very first darkroom class at the U of I, and I think it's true for most anyone who's worked in the darkroom that there's just a real magic to watching that image appear, and I still get very excited about that. So I love the process of photography. I prefer working with chemistry as opposed to digital output. I like, feeling like I have a real hand in the art. And I like the immediacy of it, that I can have an idea and execute it pretty quickly. I think one of my very favorite classroom activities is doing pinhole cameras with my beginning darkroom photography students. It's really just still astounding to me that you can take something like a Pringles can and pierce a small hole in a shim of metal and use that as a camera that can create a really, really beautiful image. Maidrite is a pinhole photograph from the Maidrite in my hometown, Quincy, Illinois. And it's just a really unique place that feels like it did, as I can imagine, if you were there in the 1940s. It's been around forever, and it has a lot of sentimental value to me. It's a place that when I go back home, I always want to go there. It, tastes like childhood. I decided to do a series of pinhole photographs in Quincy as a way to sort of record some places that were of significance to me, and then the quality of the pinhole gives it this unrefined, nostalgic quality that I hope comes through. From Guerre to the Moon is a series of 80 individual 35mm slides. So I found at my work an old slide carousel that was packed full of a presentation that someone would have given using these slides, and the slideshow was titled From Guerre to the Moon, with the moon being kind of the furthest point that man had reached in the 60s when this slide set was created. And so I took all 80 of those slides and collaged in and on the transparencies. So the scale is incredibly small. They're just the size of a 35mm negative or positive, I guess, in that case. And I added to them, cut into them, and used a bunch of just collected and found materials to manipulate the image. So it was originally, and the way that I would intend it to be shown is as a slide projector presentation. So having the projector set up in the gallery and clicking through each of the 80 images. And there's something like kind of fun about those. I didn't like glue everything down, or there's some three-dimensional elements to some of the slides where the fan will blow one of the fibers and it creates an interesting movement then on the projected image. The 1,000 Paper Cranes for Peace was a project that my partner Hillary and I came up with this past summer, and it was in response to all the gun violence that had been going on, but specifically there was a weekend in June where the shooting at the Pulse nightclub in Florida happened, and then here in Urbana our friend was shot and killed. We felt really helpless that we were really down and discouraged, but I guess it's in our nature that we thought surely there's some good that has to come from this crazy world, and what can we do to make it better, just for us. Is how we were thinking. And we'd talked about doing some paste up at Sip Yard in Urbana, and then I'd mentioned that maybe let's go paste up some paper cranes, paper cranes being a symbol for peace and for making a wish. And Hillary said, well, we have to do 1,000 in order for the wish to come true. So I said, well, guess you better call our friends because we'll need some help. Draw also was made this summer, still thinking about gun violence and how, you know, the image of a gun is incredibly powerful, even just on paper. And I'm interested in how to kind of play with that image a little bit, to put a twist on it that, you know, of course I would prefer that guns be used for making art instead of causing violence and pain. So by combining the image of the gun with the pencil, it was again kind of like bringing my wish for a different reality or different perception. Winning the ACE Educator Award certainly is quite an honor. It's a great, you know, community award. Being nominated by members of the community is very flattering, and to think that the impact that I've had reaches beyond, you know, just the walls of Centennial. And certainly over the course of teaching for now 23 years, I've had the opportunity to work with, you know, thousands of really great people, and at the center of that are really great students. And it's so rewarding to hear back from folks who have either pursued a career in arts themselves and can identify their time at Centennial being very instrumental in that, or just even bumping into somebody at the grocery store and they're like, oh, you were my art teacher, I loved art class. Just, you know, that personal connection, just knowing that something you're doing has had a lasting impact with folks is really great. And I've been there long enough now that I have some of the children of my former students now as students, and so that's really pretty neat too, to see that come full circle. My goal has continually been just to make more art, and that means just trying to carve out some more time to do that. So professionally, I'm saying no to a few things where I hadn't in the past, to try to free up a little time to be able to do that, and just stay focused and committed to making work and to keep getting it out there where folks can see it.